Hi, this is Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And you're listening to Talking Downey with Mario. Welcome. Whether you're watching it or listening, thank you for watching this podcast. So we're going to do shorter ones this week. We're going to do about 3 or 4 that are 15, 20 minutes long, just kind of bring everybody up to speed on what's happening in the city of Downey. So it just came on the paper. Last Wednesday was the big planning commission meeting regarding the 33-unit condo project over in front of Treasure Island. The paper said this controversial project. And I don't look at it as a controversial project, but okay, because there are some homeowners that don't want that there. And a little bit on there, I think, was a little bit misinformation that they had until we had the Planning Commission meeting. So let me fill you in on last week's Planning Commission. There were 70 speakers that were going to speak. Okay, it's a public hearing, so we listen to the city, then we listen to the applicant, which is Olson Homes. They built things in the city before. And then comes the public. And so everybody gets to speak for 3 minutes. And there were 70 people that had signed up. It turned out to be even more than that had signed up to speak. It ended up being like 92 or something like that. So at the beginning, I'm the vice chair, and Chair Uva couldn't be at the meeting, so I was chairing it. So I begged everybody, I said, listen, you will all get a chance to say anything you want. You get 3 minutes. You can say in a position or 4. Let me read you some of the things we've heard on their list of about 40 different things. Traffic, bad for there, please bring the church back, all the pros and the cons, right? And I said, so we've heard them. We have a 730-page report from the staff, so there's a lot of detailed information. So for all of you, you have your 3 minutes. 3 minutes times, 80 people on there is well over, 3 hours, right? So you get a chance to do that. We up here in the Planning Commission will be here until midnight if we have to. We will listen to every single person. Your voice is important whether you're for it or against. But I beg of you, if it's something that's been repeated and you just want to say you're in favor of it unless you or against it, if you can keep it down to less than a minute, man, that would be fantastic because we're all going to be here until the final vote comes in. So I just kind of appealed to everybody's better senses, and I think that was great. Most people did exactly that. Most people came up. I oppose it for this reason. You took 30 seconds and so forth. We got it. So I get it that it's personal for the folks on the island. That's where they live. I love that Treasure Island. I love the people up there. I work closely with that unity in the community in that neighborhood watch group for many years, and that's how Treasure Island Park was built. We designed Treasure Island as a passive park, exactly what the folks at Treasure Island wanted. And ironically, most of our meetings were right there in that church that's being torn down. So here's the project. That church wants to leave. They're going to sell it. They're already in escrow with Olson Homes, this developer. They've already moved to another city. Their only thing can be back there is a church, or unfortunately, they could sell it or use their name and give it to a nonprofit to build affordable apartments there. You can build up to 71 units of affordable housing apartment units there. Nobody wants that. This project is sold to Olson Homes. It's 33 unit condos. They'll be selling in the mid 700,000. 30 of them will be for market price. 3 of them will be for affordable housing, which will be in the 300 and some odd thousand. Can you imagine in the old days our parents thinking that 300 and some odd thousand would actually be affordable housing? But in today's market, what a deal. So they'll be anywhere from, I think, up to 1,700 square feet. There are 3 stories, 3 bedrooms, 2 or 2.5 baths, 2-car parking garages on each one. It'll be an enclosed community with an aggressive HOA that will keep people doing the rules. I know I'm very familiar with Olson Homes. And that's one of the things the HOA president from the other Olson Homes project that they built here in Downey over on 3rd Street came and spoke in favor and said this is, Olson Homes and so forth. So I wanted to set it up. So this was the situation. Now, in the last Planning Commission meeting, it was 2-2 tie. Okay, I was gone. I had told staff long before that I was going to be at an Army function as a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. I was going to be at Fort Campbell watching the 101st Airborne and their Screaming Eagle exercise there for 21 days. So I was there, told everybody in February, and of course they shouldn't change the schedule just for me. So they did put that on the schedule on April 17th when they knew I was going to be gone. And, oh, well, I'm not more important in the Planning Commission. So it came out to be a 2-2 tie. Mr. Lujan and Mr. Cycli both voted in favor of it. They thought, yeah, this could create a little bit of more traffic, but that's up to the city to mitigate, and this is a really good project. So Luis Morales, Commissioner Luis Morales, he voted no. He wanted to make it smaller, and then when that didn't pass, he voted no. Although in our thing, he said it's a very nice project, but maybe there's some things that could have been done. But he didn't bring up those things, which is a little disappointing. So he voted no, even though that's his job. He is an economic development director. He's a planning person. That's the field that he works in, and he voted no on it. I'm not making assertions, but he's running for the council seat that represents that district. So maybe there's other motives there internally, which, it's hard to blame him. But, when we're there to do the job for the city, even if it's popular, we have to do what we think is right. Ms. Carrie Uva, our chairwoman, a very nice lady, good lady. She's a realtor and a lawyer. And she said some nice things about the project. And that something else is going to be built there, so it could be a lot worse. But then ultimately, it looked like she was going to vote yes, and she voted no. So 2-2 tie on the project. So when you have a 2-2 tie, it just doesn't pass. It doesn't fail, but it doesn't pass. So the developer in the city brought it back. The developer asked to bring it back for reconsideration. So fast forward now 2 weeks later to this May 1st. So I'm back from my Army duties. But Ms. Uva had already said the same thing, that she was going to be gone in Sacramento as a liaison for the Realtors Governance Association and so forth. So she was going to be gone. So now, as vice chair, it was up to me to basically run the meeting. So that's where we set it up. A lot of people there, very calm, very peaceful. And then after the public comments, I did want to bring up some things. So I'm going to tell you a couple of the things that I said. I wanted to set it up. And I said, hey, bear with me with some history here, not too long ago in Downey. So when we wanted to re-energize the downtown Downey, we realized that we didn't have any housing components. And I've said this, you've heard me say this, housing is not an end-all to any successful downtown, but every successful downtown has a housing element. So as mayor, I took a lot of criticism for the View apartments that was going to be built in Downey. 54 units, they were affordable housing for rents. A $24 million project. It's a beautiful building that's still looking good after 10 years. And here's some of the comments that I went back to some of my emails. You're ruining our community. This is all addressed to me and some other of my colleagues in the council. You're going to make us a slum. You're increasing traffic. You're allowing low income, and we're going to be the projects. Nobody will want to come to downtown Downey. People will move away from Downey. You all should have your head examined. So, with the fast forward to the View today. Only 2 residents have ever moved out in all these years. They pay between $800 and $950 a month. They stop a waiting list at 450 people. They could be in the thousands, and it's been that way for many, many years. The list gets updated every year, and it could be easily a couple thousand people. And so the View has not only not been an issue for our downtown, but it's helped with having folks living here all day long. So some of the same concerns happened several years later when Olson wanted to build condos in downtown Downey. The Village Walk over on 3rd Street, so it was built with a lot of parking and safety concerns. Oh my gosh, you're building this in downtown. I forgot how many condos it is. I don't know if it's 30 or 35. Each one has a two parking lot, 2-car parking on their premises. But oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible. And then remember that corner was empty. There was a little small house on there, the big open lot, and tons of feral cats. But people thought that it was just going to be a terrible thing to do that, to have that there. So fast forward, and people bought him. And now that was in 2017, I believe they moved in. So I want to give you a little background story. So my daughter, when she was looking to buy a condo, she bought the lot. She wanted that, and we helped her with the financing, my wife and I. Her and her husband, the young couple, just getting married. So we helped them into home ownership. That was in 2017, if I recall. It was the very last unit. It was for sale. We bought it at market price at $538,000. 3 stories, brand new. They got to pick out the fixtures and so forth. So the following year, they wanted to have a family and the dog and and so forth. So they looked for a single family dwelling. So we sold it and we put it on the market just like anybody else would. Tons of open houses on there, but over 3 months, it still was there. And it finally sold for $590,000. So a little bit over a year, we made from $538,000, which is the market price for the condos. We got it at the listing price. You know, in a new development, there's no negotiations on the number. We sold it for $590,000, and that was in 2018 or so forth. And my daughter bought a house over on Quill, very happy, 3 bedrooms, the yard, the corner lot, great neighbors, by the way, a neighborhood. But the house, I looked it up at Zillow, the condo that's there on 3rd Street, and now the Zillow, and Zillow's not perfect, but it's like $740,000, $738,000. So it would have been a good investment. You kind of wish it would have stayed. But guess what? Those units there have never been an issue in downtown Downey. There has been no problems there. It's kind of the other way around. Some of the noise in the restaurants can bother them on there. But I wanted to set it up a little bit. So here's what I said after listening to everybody. And by the way, the public comment, most people were so nice about it. Hey, I'm in favor of this for this, or please don't do this. I live there. I think this is going to be terrible because of the traffic and so forth. And a lot of people had concerns with that light there on right off the bridge, and it's valid. In the morning and the evenings, there is an issue. The CEQA report and the traffic engineers report and so forth concluded that this would be a minimal add-on. Because you got to remember, 33 condos, but not everybody leaves at the same time. They did the mitigation reports and so forth on there. So they felt it was fine and it was not going to be. And these are third-party people that are not paid by Olson or the city and so forth. So I just want to show you, okay, I literally made a lot of notes, okay, on everything else. But it seems in favor. I just did a little count, okay. 10, 20, 36 were in favor. In opposition was 10, 20, 30, 34 on there were opposed. So it was really close. And I think I might have been a little bit in reverse on that, on the ones that, on there. So it was within, close. But people were willing to stay there for 2.5, 3 hours. The meeting ended around 11 or 10:40 something, I think, and it started at 6:30. So people were passionate. So you got to respect that. And I truly understand. And I did say this, and this is some of my final comments. Told them, hey, home ownership is better always for any neighborhood than rentals. There's a pride of ownership, as we know, and long-term maintenance and respect, and usually for those living around there. Something's going to be built there. And I asked the questions of staff, and I looked at all the different angles that people can build different things there, okay? The pastor there, he's selling it. They're selling it. They've moved on. So it is going to be sold. So the questions, well, when I build a community center, well, the city doesn't have, $6 million to buy that and build a community center there. And it's at the edge of town, which will most likely be used a lot by Bell Gardens, not necessarily Downey residents. Why not build a park? Well, there's a park, 100 yards away, Treasure Island Park. Yeah, it's a passive park, but it's a nice park. I rode my bike through there on Sunday. Why not a fire station? Well, with mutual aid, we get to use the one from Bell Gardens, not that far away from there. Why not, commercial buildings? Well, commercial would actually have more parking situations than that. And they're closed at night, so it could also be a safety hazard. So everything was kind of answered on here. So the housing is going to be in the $700 and some odd thousand range. I said this, if I'm a resident of Treasure Island, I'd love to have people that can afford, they have jobs, of course, afford a house, 700 and some odd thousand, living right outside of my entrances, that are going to be able to be there, people with home ownership and so forth. I drove several times there during the last couple of weeks, especially with my wife. We parked there. We waited there 20 minutes. We waited one time half an hour. I rode my bike. I probably have been there 8 to 9 to 10 times there. And at nighttime, it's kind of scary. It's kind of dark. And I wouldn't want to live in Treasure Island knowing that that parking lot is open and empty. And I saw some things that I didn't like. There's a storage lot on the other side of it on there. So it just, I don't know, it scared me on it. But I did want to say this, and I said this to the resident. I told them that I love and respect the island. They've earned it. They have well-maintained homes, a pride of ownership, and they should be commended for that. They've got this reputation of being together. But my job as a planning commissioner is not to answer some of the things that were not in our purview regarding this. I mean, I can't say that the economic development impact on it. We got to find the standing, if you will. But we did work hard on that park. The community wanted lighting, improved safety, started a neighborhood watch, and we built that new well-deserved park. We did that together. The community, Unity in the Community led that. I was proud to be mayor, and for 3 years we worked on that. And the design of the park is exactly what they wanted. And a lot of them were at those meetings. They remembered me. I won the watermelon eating contest and so forth. So the island is a gem, and they're kind of a victim of their own success because other people want to live there. And I drove by there on Sundays, not too many houses for sale. So when I spoke the other day on this project, I spoke from the heart and from experience. And seriously, any good city planner or anybody that knows anything about economic development personnel, they know that this is a very good project. So I really didn't have any choice. Traffic mitigation is something the city needs to work on, not in the future, but now. They need to work on that light, and they are. I asked lots of questions of the staff. You're welcome to watch the meeting. I could answer to you and tell you the questions. I had about 14, 15 questions for the staff. And they were pretty good about answering it, and they gave us straight answers, including that they're already working on changing the light regardless and timing it better and doing things better there. That's a must. The traffic is a city's job, not a developer's job. So anyways, and so I listed these. I understand the traffic concerns. I listened to the residents from all the emails and calls, and I understand their concerns. Home ownership is something we want in the city. This adds to our numbers, and it's basically a vacant lot right now. It's been vacant for several years. This project comes to us from a developer the city knows and has proven itself. They're professional. They get top rankings on everything. They're big that they can afford and do it. They're small enough that they're local, and they don't leave. They stick around, and they really make sure to take care of the properties. And that's one of the things. I was on the council the first time they approached us years ago, and we went and saw some of the other developments they did, and they've done really good things that hold their value and maintain, and they have that kind of reputation. And I said, if this isn't built, something worse could be built. Something is going to get built there. And then lastly is so the Development Review Committee of the city, which consists of police, fire, public works, planning, building, and safety, they've provided approval and ensured that the site features in the project has the least impact on the community, and it meets or exceeds all municipal codes, obviously with the safety being on top of that. So in police and fire, trust me, I've been involved in other projects where they don't approve them. It's from a safety perspective, and I respect that. So having said all those things, that's why I voted for it. I really do believe this will be a good project for not only the city and for our communities, but even for the folks at Treasure Island. So I'm glad to answer any questions. It's now goes to on May 14th. We will put this. Brandon, when do we publish this? This Friday? So
You want to do Friday? Yeah.
yeah, so this will go this Friday. So you get to hear it before next Tuesday, May 14th, City Council meeting, and that's when all 5 of them were reviewed. Because we had made some zoning changes and so forth. And quite frankly, it's up to them, the City Council now, to bless what we did. It was a 3-1 vote on the Planning Commission, so it wasn't close this time, and that's because Ms. Uva wasn't there. But I really do think it's a great project. Nobody's said that it's not a good project. I think that some people voted against it with the heartstrings of Treasure Island, and I can understand that. They're just decent, good people on the island, and I have so much respect for them. I know they're mad and upset with me. I will always do what I think is best for the community. Making decisions like this are not the easiest one, and I know the council has got to make it. So even if it's an unpopular decision, I know in my heart of hearts it was the right decision. You can always question my judgment, but my reasons for it, I think, were solid, and I feel good about it because I really do believe that years from now we'll be talking about it. I'm glad we're going on record and saying that. So anyways, that's it. This show was about the Planning Commission meeting at Treasure Island. My cell number is 562-706-4114, 562-706-4114. My email is mario@guerrains, I as an independent, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam.com, mario@guerrains.com. I welcome your thoughts. I welcome your comments, and we'll go from there. God bless you. Thank you, Downey, for listening. I want to thank our sponsor, Financial Partners Credit Union. They keep everything moving in our community with the 80,000 members. So God bless you. Thank you. Thanks for watching Talking Downey, watching or listening to Talking Downey with Mayor Mario.